Hey there, people. Too Tall here. I was brainstorming what I could do to put together another video, and I remembered that I had this 550 XP up in the attic space of the shop here. So this was given to me by an elderly friend, actually same gentleman that I built that little 350 for some months back. He had inadvertently put the wrong mix through this. Somebody had given him a gallon of synthetic two-stroke oil specifically formulated for a snow machine, and you know, for one of those auto inject setups on the newer snow machines. So he had no idea what really he was mixing it at, and he was mixing it lean. So over the course of the summer, he basically tatered the saw. You know, he didn't blow it up per se, but you know, eventually got to the point where it ain't got much compression. Actually, well, that's not a good representation, because I just remembered I stole the decomp valve out of there. But anyway, so I have a new piston in the mail. Should be here pretty soon, possibly today, I don't know. But I figured we could at least commence with the teardown of this baby. Get the cylinder off, take a little peeky poo, see what she looks like. Let's see if I can find the proper bit here. Oh. So that is numbers are worn off of our inches. That looks like about a T25. Should be this guy right here. It fits, but it's loose. Well, I'm just going to bust it loose with this guy here. Holy moly. I tell you what, I'm sure monkey wrenched on there. Let's see here. Break up the big guns here in a moment. Get ourselves a baggie. Let's place some nuts and bolts. I'm bad about that. I'll get you know, half a dozen different piles of nuts and bolts here and there, and trying to keep track of it, and it inevitably goes wrong sooner or later. Get to the end of a project and you're missing this and that. tell you what, this one screw here, it's got me perplexed. There we go. Off comes the muffler. Weird shape, huh? So used to the old school mufflers. These newer saws are funky looking. Alright, all the muffler related bolts in one bag. Alright, what do we got here? Now we gotta pop loose this bolt here. Which I can't really see. There we go. Well, that bolt might be captured inside there. I don't know. That won't come out. Alright. Wrench. Oops. What the? They're running a tiny guy. Okay. No fear, we got the technology. Nope again. Third time's a charm. There we go. Okay. Plug is like super clean. Alright. Let's see. I am not very familiar at all with these, these newer generation saws. I've never fussed with anything newer. Well, let's just concentrate on Husqvarnas here. Never really fussed with anything newer than, say, a 365, 372, 359, stuff like that. That's really the newest I've dabbled with. So this 500 generation of saw is new territory for me. Little go-go juice. All right, so what I'm trying to investigate here is if I pop the cylinder bolts, if the carburetor, that whole apparatus will come right out with it like we would expect on any of the older saws. So it's beginning to look like springtime might be hopefully in the horizon for us. Starting to break up out there, getting a little soupy in places. Still got mountainous snow berms. You know, the best thing that can happen for us with a breakup is a long, steady, slow breakup. When it warms up real sudden like, and it all just melts at once, it becomes just a soupy, god-awful mess, and it's miserable for a little bit. So far we've had one of those nice, slow, steady thaws, which is good because it's not near as messy. So let's see here. How does this work? Figure out what size these are. These are probably about a 4mm. Yep. Now another thing I just thought of, I like to, chit chat a little bit while I work. You guys have probably by now noticed that cute bandage, wondering what did he do to his finger? Well, I got in a fight with a knife and I lost. I was trying to notch out a furring strip for a door so I could get some door trim on. I had to notch it out for around the striker plate, and I had this Spyderco knife of mine, which I had been put away for a few years. I hadn't used it, and I was going through some of my stuff and found it. I'm like, oh, I should start carrying that again. So I sharpened it up real good, and I had the thing just shaving hair. And so I pulled it out to notch that fern strip, and well, I slipped and managed to catch. I was holding the fern strip with this hand, kind of like so. Too much stuff away. Kind of like so, with the board facing me, and like a dum-dum, cutting towards my hand, and I slipped and T-boned into my finger all the way into the bone right from the end. So it's a spot it's constantly getting bumped, and every time you flex your hand, the tendons are pulling at the end of that finger, and anyway, yeah, not good. So, and no, I didn't go to the doctor. I'm not a doctor person if I can help it. I just well, of course, I finished up the work I was doing. Just put a quick duct tape and napkin bandage on it, and finished what I was doing. Come home, cleaned it up, tried to get it stopped bleeding. By 8, 9 o'clock that evening, it was still wasn't wanting to stop bleeding. So I put a couple of stitches in it. I got my dad to thank for that skill. As a child, seems like just about every time I turned around, Dad was coming home from the woods, had a boo-boo, got, getting an entanglement with the chainsaw, and he'd lose. And so that became an often enough occurrence that he just started learning how to stitch himself. So as a child watching that, I started to learn a thing or two about it. So anyway, all right. What's coming off of here? I need to detach the throttle cable here, I think. I know you guys can't really see what I'm doing. Alright, we got her loose. Let's see, we got some fuel lines. We got another line there running up to the primer bulb. Let's see if we can't pop that loose in one way or another. That's something I don't understand, is these little primer bulbs on these saws just seem so silly. Curious. Maybe not. Alright. Well, I guess may have to pop that carburetor off. Okie dokie. That there. And of course we've got some wires, electronic carburetor, which I might have to do a little research and see what I can do to delete that. That would be nice. Alright, so that can just hang out of the way. This should be ready. Whoop, nope, not ready. Still got something hanging on down below here. Silly wire. Alright. That's it, beginning to irritate my finger. Trying to get a wire running down the bottom end right here. Alright, just pop that loose like that. Worry about the wire later. There. Bada boom, bada bing. Alright, let's get these cylinder bolts out before we have a chance to lose them. There's one over there. Ooh. All right. All right, let's have a looky here. See what we got going. Just let that dangle there for a second. Interesting. So I just scraped that out of inside the case. Some kind of sludge. Pasty sludge. Yeah, that piston is unhappy, and it's got a nice little gouge on the exhaust side right at the top there. I don't know what that's about. See, this saw is running crank stuffers. All right, let's take a look at this cylinder here. Well, I think hopefully we should be able to say this. So that there's a wonder. You know, I say there's a gouge. I'm looking at this. I wonder if that's not intended to be there. You know, not being familiar with this particular model of saw, I don't know, because there's a correlating mark that looks more like a machined mark than an actual gouge. That's very curious. But I'll tell you one thing for certain. Gouge or no gouge, it probably ain't going to make any difference because, yeah, we're going to have to, you know, do a little tickle, a little bit of grinding. Can't help myself. So let's see if you guys can get a little peeky poo. Without blinding you, maybe. Oh, look at that. It's hard to really see too good, but excuse me. There's nothing there that won't clean up real nice. So, yep. Man, interesting way they did the transfers on these, huh? I'm assuming that, yeah, that's what that is. So the transfer right here. Up and around. Very interesting. And then the, you know, the intake. What is it they call that? A stratosphere system or something like that? I don't fully understand how that works, but one step closer to figuring it out, maybe. investigate this, and maybe I'll know something when I get done with this. So anyway, see, I might pause you guys here. I'll get this piston off and give you an up close look at that. I'll see you back here in just a second. All right, we're back after a pause there. So I got the piston out of the saw. I took the intake boot off the cylinder. Cleaned this up a little bit just with compressed air, likewise with the body of the saw a little bit. Anyway, upon inspection here, so on the intake side of this piston, that's the intake side, you can see that it has some significant scoring, and there is corresponding aluminum transfer. I doubt with the lighting here that you'll be able to see this. We'll try. Just maybe kind of see a little bit there on the bottom side of the intake port. Other than that, other than that little bit of transfer there, this piston, or sorry, this cylinder is in pretty good condition. I could polish that up, clean that up easy peasy. Which I kind of suspected that was going to be the case. That's why I only ordered a piston, because I had, took a peek sometime back through the spark plug hole and didn't see anything too glaring. So I've been able to salvage some really nasty looking cylinders. Just takes time and patience, and in all reality, you'd be amazed at what, the condition of a cylinder, how bad and rough it might look and feel, and still amazingly run well. So I remember one time, I think it was actually when I was working on the old 925. There's a group of guys that I hang out with occasionally and have coffee and visit stuff, share stories. I brought that cylinder in with me. I'd been working on it and cleaning it up. That saw had popped. Bearing had cut loose from the bottom, and of course carried it all the way up, left tracks along the way. And with those saws, it's not like you can just call up the vendor and buy a new cylinder. Those haven't been manufactured since, I don't know, 80s maybe, and they're very, very hard to find. Anyway, so I wanted to make every attempt I could to salvage that one and make it work. I'd found an outfit that specializes in aftermarket pistons and such. I can get aftermarket pistons for that saw, for any of the Pioneers, McCulloughs, lots of interesting and rare stuff I can get pistons for, but not cylinders. So anyway, I took that cylinder in there with me, and I was under the impression that it was, too far gone, not going to work. And this old boy Joe said, "Hey, let me take a look at that." And he gets that thing in his paw. He looks and he's like, "There's nothing wrong with that. I've had worse with snow machines, and they ran." I'm like, "What?" So I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna take him at his word and give it a shot." So I did, and that thing runs good. So probably doesn't, operate at what it could if it was new and in excellent condition. I doubt the compression is what it could be, but it runs. So anyway, so Yeah, that little mark, that notch. Do you see that? I am not sure offhand what the purpose of that is, but there is a corresponding notch just like it in the roof of the exhaust transfer. I don't know that we're going to be able to. Whoops. Let's see. It's right there. Anyway, that'll more than likely disappear when we do a little grinding. So, and then I'm gonna have to do a little investigate and see what the proper approach is for doing, you know, port work on the intake side on these, on this strat system or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, all right. Well, I guess we'll call that a wraps for today. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you have a great day, wherever or whenever you might be. Bye.